In today's episode, I will be speaking with Laurie Newton, the president of the Montreal Teachers Association. Laurie hails from a small town in northern Alberta. Dragged, kicking and screaming to the Toronto suburbs by her parents at the age of 15, she discovered that she was a big city girl after all. Through the course of her university program at the University of Waterloo in Ontario, Laurie ended up in Montreal for 1 year of studies at l'Université de Montréal, where she intended to do her 8 months of classes and return to Ontario, but ended up falling in love with both Montreal and someone special. She moved to Montreal full-time in 1996. Laurie has a Bachelor of Arts in French, a Bachelor of Education in French Second Language Learning, and a Diplôme d'études supérieures spécialisé en didactique du français langue seconde. She taught 14 years in various elementary schools of the EMSB, 7 years in high school, and has been at the MTA since 2017. Welcome, Laurie.
Nice to see you, Julie. Thank you for having me.
Oh, we're very, very, very happy to have you. Let's start with the first question. So if you can explain a little bit the geographical area that MTA covers.
The MTA covers the territory that corresponds to the English Montreal School Board. So that would be basically the eastern half of the island of Montreal, from Montreal West and NDG all the way to the Pointe de l'Île.
All the way to that Pointe de l'Île. So it's quite a big area when you think about it, when you look at it that way.
Well, our east and west schools can end up being very far from one another. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. And I would love to hear a little bit about your journey to becoming the president of the MTA.
Well, it started when I moved to Montreal after having graduated. I got hired as an elementary French specialist, and just trying to keep my head above water with teaching. Wasn't aware about much related to any kind of union affairs whatsoever. But as I got my regular tenured track position, I got my arm twisted by my colleagues into being the alternate rep 1 year. That just sort of, the famous voluntold, please, we need somebody, the new girl on the block. So that's how that started. Through the years, I ended up being the senior rep, or sometimes the only rep, because I couldn't find anybody who would let me twist their arm into being an alternate with me or anything like that. In 2017, I left my teaching position and was hired by the MTA as a full-time executive assistant. So taking phone calls and emails from teachers and then giving them advice on and information about all kinds of things. And then in the spring of 2021 is when I decided to run for the office of president and was elected. So I'm a newbie president, I guess, and it's still in my first year.
Still in your first year. And if you could describe, what does a typical day of being the MTA president look like?
I don't think there's such a thing as a typical day. In that way, it's a lot like teaching, in the sense that, generally your days are similar, but they're never exactly the same thing. There's always, phone calls and emails. There always seems to be some kind of fire to put out somewhere, somebody desperately looking for information, or somebody scrambling somewhere. So some days I do feel like I am putting out fires. So that sort of would resemble a typical day, I guess.
Wow. And that's a lot of pressure. So what do you do to take care of yourself during those times, which is every day?
Honestly, I've started working partly at the office, partly at home, depending on what's on my plate on any given day. So honestly, to not have the drive from home to our office in NDG takes a lot off my plate right then and there, when I'm not spending, 45 minutes each way driving. So that's also been a good start. I've also appreciated being able to work from home on days when I have nothing but virtual meetings, for example.
Yes.
Something else that I do a lot of is I crochet. I get out some yarn and a hook, and I get such a sense of accomplishment from producing something concrete at the end. Like, even if it's a simple dishcloth, it's therapeutic for me to be able to feel productive on days when you maybe don't feel that you got a lot done at work.
Oh, that's really interesting. No pressure, but do you have something close by you could show us? I would love to see.
Actually, no, I don't. It's all downstairs in
Okay.
my family room. But no, it's mindless crocheting sometimes, like simple dishcloths, just because it's something to disconnect, to not feel the need to pick up my phone and constantly be checking emails. I do really try to make the effort to be on top of my emails, because emergencies do come up, but I don't need to be connected 24/7 either. So that's something I try to do in the evenings.
And putting out fires is amazing and it's wonderful. And I know it's part of your job, but how nice is it that you take the time to do something that doesn't have to have a specific end goal. It's just for the fun of the process.
Exactly. I think that's what's so therapeutic for me about it.
I get that. And if you could share one thing that you wish MTA members and actually all teachers knew more about the union.
I think people need to remember that the union is them. It's not the 4 or 5 people who might be working in the office, getting information or making decisions on your behalf. The union is its members, and often we have trouble recruiting people to be reps or delegates because the excuse is, I don't know anything about the collective agreement or the union. Well, I didn't start off by knowing anything about the collective agreement or policies and union matters at all. We are there to guide you through that. So, I guess I would say, don't be afraid to call us and ask questions. It's normal. That's what we're there for. And, we would like people to be more involved. And we're there to give our reps training and give them the information so they can assist their colleagues the best they can. But that comes through time.
It comes through time. And sometimes the best help that you can be as a delegate is just being there to contact the union with a colleague. It's not necessarily to have the answer, because they're teaching there. They have other roles to play. So it's just to be of support. But you're right. That's a misconception people have. They think it's a huge undertaking, and truly it's just a means of support, being a lifeline for somebody else.
Sometimes the rep or the delegate's most important job is saying, oh, I don't know, we need to call the MTA and give the teacher our phone number or our email address. That's really how I sum up in great part the role of a rep and the role of the connection of the rep between the union office and the members.
So Laurie, if you would be so kind as to share a message for teachers as we continue. Typically, when I'd ask this question to the other presidents, it says, as we make our way out of the COVID-19, but life has taken on a different turn. So I will ask it, what message would you give to teachers as we continue during these difficult times?
Yeah, I mean, we all thought that we were going to be coming out of this pandemic by this point. That does not seem to be the case, unfortunately. So I really just would love for teachers to understand that they don't have to continue doing everything that they used to do with their students pre-pandemic. It's okay to say, look, I can't, and no, and not right now. And to be okay with the fact that you might feel like you're not doing enough. But sometimes doing the bare minimum is what people need to do in order to take care of themselves. There's nothing wrong with that sometimes. And when you're feeling stronger and healthier, maybe it's okay to go back to doing all the extras that so many teachers do. But, honestly, it's okay to take a step back and say, no, I can't, not right now. Mm. And I don't think teachers as a group say that enough to the people around them.
That's excellent advice. I will take it as well. Thank you, Laurie.
I realize it's easier said than done.
Yes, you're right. And if we do something, it should be because we love it and we enjoy it, but to never feel obligated to do so.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Laurie. And please continue the amazing work that you're doing for MTA members.
Well, thank you very much, Julie.